All right. If it's Tuesday, that means it's time for one thing, Mike, and that is it's time for Comic Book School Live. We are shaking it up a little bit, both going on camera live. Let's hear the round of applause from our audience. That's right. We're doing things a little different this year. I'm going to try and match my shirt every time we have a colored background. I feel like you've got a yellow tone as well there.
If I'd known, I would have worn a yellow shirt.
I had known I was going to do this background, I would have purposely worn this shirt. We literally cut it about as close as possible tonight, Mike. I am proud of us. I'm proud of you, and I'm proud of everybody that joins us. We are Mike Fasolo and Buddy Scalera. He's Mike. I'm Buddy. We are Comic Book School Live. Comic Book School talks about the craft and business of making comics. So if you're even a little bit interested in creating your own comic books, you're already creating your comic books, or just want to learn a little bit about behind the scenes of making comic books, Mike, you know what? They've come to the right place, don't you think?
This is the place to be to find out everything you want to know about comic books.
That's right. And we take your questions live or otherwise. In fact, sometimes we're even happy to answer your questions after the show. So be sure to like, subscribe, and add your comments. Tonight, Mike, we're going to be talking about 10 stunning comic book covers. Looks like we've already step one, buy a yellow shirt. Step completed. Thank you, Mike.
That will do it.
So, Mike, we got a pretty big show. We're going to be talking about, what makes a great cover and why we selected the covers. There are lots of episodes that we've covered in this, but I literally cut it so close that I didn't get to include them.
When was our last cover?
We did covers about 5 months ago. And then prior to that, like almost a year ago. So we did splash pages 2 weeks ago. It was great. Everybody thought it was a lot of fun. So we thought we'd jump back into covers. And Mike, let's just quickly introduce ourselves. Mike, you are a 3-time Emmy award-winning and Annie award-winning screenwriter. That's right. That's right. I'll make you know a lot about comics books. Been working in the industry for a very long time. And I am a comic book writer as well. I'll put the applause on for myself. I am perhaps somebody's 3rd or 4th favorite comic book writer. Not sure where I rank for you, Mike. I'm not sure.
As long as you're up there.
I'm up there. But tonight we're going to be talking about 10 stunning covers, and we'll get into a little bit about why they're so stunning and why they're so important as my microphone lilts down a little bit and I tighten it up. How's my audio? Good?
Sounds good.
That's good. All right. So, Mike, what makes a great cover? A great cover is something that literally makes you want to buy the comic. I had read at one time there were up to 750 different covers on an average comic book store shelf, not counting back issues. That's a lot of covers to choose from. So your cover must be exciting. It must grab the reader. You must judge a book by its cover in this case. And you know what? We're going to give you some covers that caused people to run out, shop, and buy them. What do you think?
I think that sounds delightful. Oh, we got Andrew. Hi,
Andrew. You have Andrew.
Oh, look, there's a cyclone
in the slides for a minute, Mike. Why don't you take the questions real quick? And I think I realized I messed up something on the slides.
Uh-oh.
Go ahead.
So Andrew apparently has a cyclone heading directly for his house. So
why?
I guess in Australia they got cyclones coming in.
What's the difference between a cyclone, a hurricane, a tornado?
Well, I think isn't a cyclone more like a hurricane? I think.
I don't know.
Oh, look, Gatilla's here.
Gatilla's here. Is Gatilla buying us a little bit of time? Ask Gatilla what he's up to.
What do you have, Gatilla? And then there's Jared. We got Jared. Is Jared? He's in Australia too. Does he have a cyclone headed toward his house?
I don't know. Australia's pretty big, Mike.
It's not that big.
It's epically big. It is remarkably, astonishingly large. It is massive. It is a massive continent. Yeah, we should get a meteorologist on here to tell us the difference between a cyclone, a hurricane, and a tornado. Yeah, someone in our group is probably Googling it right now and giving us the correct answer.
And we're gonna end up looking dumb because we don't know.
But you know what? We're not going to look dumb as hi, Jared. How are you? Nice to see you again. So, Mike, we're going to talk about stunning covers. We're going to count down from 10. This is my order that I put it in. And we're going to, oh, hold on. What did he say?
Oh, yes. Jared's got the cyclone headed towards him, too.
Oh.
He's a bit far south, but, he hopes.
We hope you're okay. Make sure your comics are bagged and board. Stunning comic covers are not as important as surviving a cyclone, assuming the cyclones are dangerous. You know what, Philip? I'm not sure if I agree with that.
They sound dangerous.
They sound dangerous, but you know what? A real superhero would know what to do. Wonder where Cyclone send Australia. Are they already in the land of Oz? Gatilla, you know what? You make a good point. Gatilla's on fleek tonight. Is on fleek still a thing, Mike?
On fleek is definitely not a thing, bud.
Is on fleek is not a thing. I don't even know what on fleek was. I think it meant it was on point. Anyway.
On fleek was, it was something that was very
Gatilla, cool. Yeah, I'm dealing with a sciatica nerve too. That's what happens when you get old.
Yeah, it's uninhabitable. It's mostly desert.
But it's great for filming Mad Max movies.
Yeah, that's true.
Good one, Gatilla. Okay, so starting off, we did this already. Okay, so Mike, yeah, you won awards and did Robot Chicken. I've written a bunch of comic books, did Wizard. We're doing our 10 stunning covers. Okay, Mike, you picked this one. This was your first pick. I agree with you. This is absolutely a stunning cover. Talk to me. Why is this a stunning cover?
Well, first of all, because you see that obviously Robin is dead, which is immediately draws you right in because, Batman and Robin, how'd Robin die? What's going on? How did it happen? Because he's Batman. Batman doesn't have anybody that dies in his family. And
what was amazing about this was, and I don't know if they ever did it again, this was a stunt that DC did where they literally allowed fans to call in to vote if Robin lived or died. And the overwhelming vote was for Robin to die.
Yeah.
So he was killed via tire iron by the Joker.
Yes.
A particularly brutal death. But in this particular cover, what is beautiful about it is the trapping of the black space, the way it draws your eye down. You cannot help but you look across from the top here and you see a death. Biggest words, a death in the family, and that the vote did not go well for Robin.
Yes, I think no matter what, he definitely would have been killed. They had to do that. I mean, once you say, oh, we're going to vote on it, everyone's going to vote to kill him.
I would have voted for Robin to live. I'm sorry.
Would you?
Certainly. I didn't do the voting. This was during a time when I did not read comic books, so I was not here for this. I read this in reprints because no one likes Jason Todd, or was it Tim Drake? Apparently, Gatilla, we don't know either.
This was Jason Todd.
Jason Todd, right? He was not a popular Robin. What makes this work, amongst other things, is the trapping of the black, but the bright yellow call out of the bat symbol. And I think what makes it even more powerful is you can see from Batman's body language, the kneeling position, and even the downturned face. You do not see eyes. He is full of despair.
Yes.
And that this has gone wrong. And again, once again, the Z pattern, you look across, your eye can't do anything but track down. There's nothing else to see here. The cape leads you to the right-hand corner where you have to turn the page. If you saw this on the stands, Mike, buy or pass?
Absolutely buy. I actually saw this in a newspaper. When this first came out. This was like a big story because Robin was dying, and I just from seeing the black and white cover on the newspaper, I was like, I got to go get this. Yeah,
and I think in addition to the graphic design of this, the typography was special. You do not see a font like this. I believe at the time these were hand lettered fonts. If not, they were typeset. So somebody put a lot of thought into the red type with the white stroke around it. This was a really powerful cover. I have seen the collected edition. We need a Fasolo scale.
I agree with you, Blank Stare.
Thank you, Blank Stare. And the audience
died from spite. Well,
you're right. Now, to the audience watching, who would you guys have bought this issue? Because I also did buy it, Mike. I was not familiar with the storyline. I was buying these after graduating college. I got into comics and I was like, what is this? I had to buy it. And Robin indeed died.
He did die.
He
He
did die.
comes back, but he did die.
He did die. So a phenomenal cover. Mike, thank you. This was one of your
Good job. Pat myself on the back.
Okay, we're going to keep the Fasolo train rolling. You picked these two, and they are, I don't know which one came first. Maybe somebody can tell us.
The X-Men one came first.
No, I'm thinking, oh yeah, maybe the X-Men one did come first. But these were two major events in comic book history. What makes these comics great is that they did pull through the story. What you saw on the cover was behind the pages. If you look, there is a generous use of black and this fuchsia color, which creates the front images popping. George Pérez, I believe, did this one. Muting the characters in the background, I think, was an effective use. They did have Justice League characters and Teen Titans characters. But what was significant about it was, you really cared about these characters. And since Cyclops did not have a cape, you were able to see the distraught faces of each one of these characters, the desperation, the pain. They are almost exactly the same on purpose. I believe John Byrne did this one as an homage cover. No, John Byrne did the original cover. This cover may have been used in other comics. Some other historians would have to know. But Mike, these were both winners. I did buy both of these based on the covers. I still own both of them. How about you? Did you buy these? Did you?
I did not buy the Crisis cover. I don't think I was collecting comics at the time. But, if I did see it on the stands, I would have definitely bought it because, when you see Superman holding Supergirl, you're like, what's going to be able to kill Supergirl?
Yeah,
you got to find out what's going on.
Yeah, what could kill Supergirl? And for me, I was a kid. I was buying this. I remember being very young, seeing this Uncanny X-Men cover, being just emotionally like I had to have this. Was buying them off the spinner rack at the comic shop in Paramus. Phenomenal cover. And I think just like the Batman cover before it, just so much emotion. And what made the emotion, like, we are used to looking at these heroes as strong and powerful. Batman is down on his knees, brought to his knees, holding Robin, the agony of Cyclops, the agony of Superman. You don't expect to see Superman crying like this. And this just draws you right in.
Yeah. Blank stare. I think both of these covers are inspired by a sculpture of Mary holding a very dead Jesus. That's
I
actually,
think you might be right. That is the Da Vinci sculpture, right? It's
that is, I can't remember it, but it is that cover. Yes. She's holding the
I never knew that. I never realized that. You're right. That might be Mary holding Jesus. The Pieta. Wow. You go, Philip Burnett. Was that Da Vinci, Burnett? Because I figure, since we're doing art history now. Well done on the crew. So brilliant covers. Uncanny X-Men number 136 and Infinite on Crisis. Crisis on Infinite Earths number 7. Both powerful covers. Michelangelo. There you go. But that is a powerful thing. My grandmother had that in the living room on top of the television. Impressive for a turtle.
Michelangelo, turtle.
Oh, it was a different Michelangelo. All right, Mike. Oh wait, read out loud. Wait, hold on, Mike. We have a new
guy, Henry Jeremiah.
Thanks for joining us, Henry. Welcome to the show.
I like cracks in the X-Men logo, which was being crushed by Dark Phoenix.
Whoa!
And there's an homage to the Neil Adams cover of X-Men number 56. I don't know what that one is.
Henry, you are welcome back anytime.
Henry knows stuff.
Henry, welcome. Gatilla's still on the turtles. So applause for both Henry and Gatilla. Okay, Mike, you ready for number 8?
Yep.
Stunning covers number 8. Once again, a death cover. I was, again, I was a little kid. I bought this as a back issue. This is Spider-Man number 121. Was not fully knowledgeable of Spider-Man history. But when you see, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 characters, and you just see Spider-Man's back, and read the words. What is Spider-Man saying here, Mike? Bring it home.
Can I add anything? I can read that. Hang on. Let me blow it up. Someone close to me is about to die. Someone I cannot save. Dun, dun, dun. But
Yeah.
Who?
Right? Like right there, you're like, who is this?
But
Who's going to die?
Would he want to save J. Jonah Jameson? Or
you know what?
Osborn?
Spider-Man saves all. He doesn't like him, but you got Jameson, you got Gwen, you got Aunt May, you got Robbie Robertson, you got Robbie Robertson's son, who I can't remember what his name was. You got Flash, you got Mary Jane, you got Harry and Norman. Somebody's going to die, and this is it. It's not a trick. It's not an imaginary tale, right?
Guys,
they're all imaginary tales, but it's not an imaginary tale, and it means it's going to be part of canon.
Which one dies?
You don't know?
I would guess probably Gwen.
It was Gwen. Gwen dies, and it is an epic story.
Is that the one where he snaps her neck?
I believe so. They had a good run. She certainly did have
still going strong, I think.
I liked it when they put text and dialogue on the covers. I agree, Jared. I think it really helped us to know what was going on. Granted, 121 issues, most people at this point knew who Spider-Man was, but it really did help. Now, once again, Mike, I'm going to note for the artists out there, the bold use of color. You've got the red logo, you've got the red Spider-Man. You can see that each of the characters are on a white knockout background with a deep, heavy black stroke on it. This was all done by hand, so they were manually drawing this. Ramita draws Spider-Man over this, but the use of yellow, this on the newsstand would have screamed at you because of the amount of yellow. Almost as much yellow as I'm wearing.
Almost.
But note, right? Look at the bold use of fuchsia, that hot pink fuchsia, to draw the eye. And I love that in 135, Dark Phoenix was crushing the logo, and they pulled that through. I never ever noticed that before. Did you?
Didn't notice that either.
I didn't notice that. We learned something new. All right, read out what Henry has to say. Henry's busy. This is his first appearance on the show.
The Spidey pose was used again later on the cover of the Marvel Special Edition, the Spectacular Spider-Man Treasury Edition.
Wow, Henry, you should come every episode.
He's a comic guy, apparently.
He's definitely, and he doesn't strike me as AI. He strikes me as a real person.
He's not a bot.
All right, Mike, you see this on the stands. Buy or pass?
Oh yeah, definitely buying this.
Definitely buying this. I bought it. I paid back issue prices for it. I must have paid like a whopping $5 for it. But at the time when comics were still only 35 cents, that was probably a big chunk of change for a kid that was delivering newspapers and getting tips. Okay. So number 7, I'm going to go out on a limb here. And here's why I'm going to go out on a limb. I believe it was 1991, the formation of Image Comics, when the 7 founders quit Marvel Comics en masse, formed Image Comics, and they were introducing the world to all new characters. And they had to do something amazingly audacious, which was shift from doing the Marvel and DC books, mainly Marvel at that point, that they were most famous for, and introduce a whole new sometimes interconnected universe of fresh new characters. As a reader, I did buy every one of these because for me at the time, and I believe again, 1990, 1991, they were coming out with these comics, and Savage Dragon looks a lot like Wolverine except green. Note the orange, green, and hot pink colors. They are doing everything to attract your eye. Notice the Youngblood. Once again, the orange striped background seems very similar. Now, Liefeld, well known for drawing teen books, quite literally has like Hawkeye on the cover and, the Thing behind him. So what they're signaling, and here's you got a Punisher character, but what they're signaling at this point is this is a solo character book. This is like a twist on Wolverine. This is a twist on X-Men, Avengers, X-Force, the things that Liefeld is famous for. Then over here, you have Silvestri. Silvestri is well known for drawing amazing women. And yet, in this case, Michael Turner, a relatively new talent, comes along and brings Witchblade, which some could say was a little bit like Psylocke, and comes along and brings this unbelievable painted cover that's just stunning. Once again, note the cover, the colors, bright yellow. Once again, that hot pink, purple, fuchsia draws the eye near the top third of the book, drawing the eye in. And then, of course, Todd McFarlane, the leader of one of the leaders of the Image movement. Right there, he takes the green and the red knockout Spawn with a highly stylized font, with a pose that could have literally been taken off the cover of one of his issues of Amazing Spider-Man or Adjectiveless Spider-Man. Right there, you were like, oh my God. And then in another genius stroke, he's got the red, he's got the blacks, he's got the blues, he's got the deep cover colors, but using this generous use of that neon green draws your eye right in. Before I ask you what you think, read the comment.
I got to say, Spawn has the best cover of the 4. It shows you everything you need to know and doesn't spoil anything. Very true. And Philip Burnett, they're all pretty iconic at this point, but every one of these guys was bringing their A game.
They were absolutely bringing their A games. And while I say, we're showing 10 covers, I felt like we wanted to show this one together because these more or less came out at right around the same time, really announcing the birth of the Image universe. Mike, at the time, put yourself back to 1990, 1991. Which, if any, of these covers do you buy?
I definitely would have bought Savage Dragon.
Savage Dragon. Okay.
Spawn,
talk to me about Savage Dragon. Why do you buy Savage Dragon?
Just because, look at it. It's like you want to know what this guy is. He looks crazy. He's obviously some sort of dragon. You want to figure out who he is, what's going on. Why is he so savage?
Okay. What do you think of the logo and the color treatments and stuff?
It's good. It's, again, like you said, it just draws your eye right in.
A generous use of hot pink. Okay. Next up, Rob Liefeld. What do you think?
I probably would have passed on that one.
Why would you have passed? Now, is it your modern sensibility or is it your then sensibility?
Probably my modern sensibility, because I would just like it's a, it looks kind of neat, but it's a superhero team, nothing that I haven't seen before, with just the group shot of them on the cover. They look good, but I would have been like, oh, I can pick this up in Avengers or X-Men or anything like that.
All right. Witchblade,
probably I might have picked that up. Me.
This was during the era of, we were working at Wizard at the time, Mike. We were doing bad girl covers, girl specials. This was one of the many bad girls comics that were coming out at the time, and probably one of the best written of the bad girls comics. What is Jared saying here?
I was a huge fan of Spawn. He really opened my eyes and shaped the way he draws today.
That's very interesting. That's interesting because, Jared, you don't draw anything like McFarlane. However, one day maybe we will break that down because I do like Jared's artwork.
Oh, we got somebody new.
Oh, let's hold on.
Medina.
Welcome to the show,
Victor.
Let's give him a folk cheer here.
So we're looking forward to having you on, Victor.
I like Victor's profile photo. If Victor draws like that, he should get in touch with me. Okay. And then finally, Spawn, Mike.
One I would have picked up too, just because it is a great Spider-Man looking cover.
Yep.
So I just want to figure out, again, issue number 1. Who is this guy? What's his deal? And
I absolutely love the logo. I think it has aged extremely well. Yes, welcome, Victor. I think it is extremely aged extremely well. It is literally like, oh my God, Todd McFarlane can do his own version, and I believe that the first run of Spawn still holds up. I enjoyed it. As I've told you, I am a Spawn fan. Every once in a while, just randomly pick up a Spawn. I've always loved the Spawn universe, and yeah, got to interview McFarlane a couple times. I like how all of Liefeld's guns look like mufflers to this day. Let's magnify and see. Yeah. Well, that doesn't look like a muffler that I would have on my car, but I can see what you're saying. Yeah. It's the muffler and the catalytic converter. Liefeld does a podcast, a weekly podcast. It's terrific. I'd like to put a shout out to the universe, to anybody who knows Rob Liefeld, that I'd like to have him on the show. What do you think of that?
Oh, yeah. Get him on the show.
Okay. What does Victor Medina say?
Being a huge fan of each artist of the 4 books at the time I was buying because of the artists, it didn't really matter the characters at the time. Okay.
All right. Well, I did buy them all. I was indeed a fan of every one of these artists. I know that Liefeld got a lot of guff for his stylized drawing, but I liked it. It spoke to me at a critical time when I was discovering comic books as an adult, and I very much enjoyed his artwork, and I bought all of them. As I said, Witchblade was probably the best written of all the Bad Girls books, and Spawn has just always stayed with me. I've always had a soft spot for Spawn. Do you want to see that soft spot, Mike? It's right over here.
Yeah. Is it under the yellow?
It's under the yellow. It's all soft under here. What's Jared have to say?
He says, maybe not today, which he draws predominantly a lot more cartoony, but there was certainly a large part of my life where I loved drawing the dark grittiness.
All right. Well, Jared, I'm looking for something in my inbox to prove that.
Yeah. Yes, that would be good.
Yeah. Okay. So I podcast is pretty good.
Phil Burnett says, I guess Liefeld's podcast is pretty good.
Yeah, Burnett, if you know him, I don't know him, but I'd like to have him on as a guest. I find him to be very, Rob Liefeld's podcast is Robservations, and it's very good, Mike. Keep your shirt on, buddy.
Yeah.
Wow. That was cold. And it's cold in here, so I am going to keep the shirt on. Okay. So, Mike, we have to change the font. That looks like a 1, but that's actually a 7. So we're going to go to number 6. This cover was a significant reboot of Daredevil. This cover was by Joe Quesada. Long before he became editor-in-chief, this was the harbinger of the Marvel Knights line. This was a stunning cover. Nothing but love. Nothing but love. Right back at you, Philip. Go ahead, show off.
We'll work there.
Oh, there you go. Thank you, Mike. That was beautiful. Giving the hearts back. I was blown away by this cover. There were different variants, different versions of it. I literally begged Joe Quesada to let me buy this art off of him. He had already sold it. I probably couldn't have afforded it. I'm pretty sure I would have sold my car to buy this cover. And you know how I feel about my cars.
I do know how you feel about your car.
What I believe makes this cover work is the unbelievable depth of the background and the way we can see how high up Daredevil is. We do not actually see his face. I want to just note this. We are looking at horns and eyes. We are looking at swirling fingers and the baton and literally him in a crouch. He is literally the man without fear. He does not look at all the way you and I would look if we were falling off that same building.
Trying to throw our club to
feel like flailing. I bought this. I still have it. I absolutely loved the run. It was written by world famous movie director and podcaster who I'd love to get on this show, Kevin Smith. I absolutely adore Kevin Smith's work. But Kevin Smith, Joe Quesada, and Jimmy Palmiotti, an extraordinary run on Daredevil. But this opening cover sets the tone for what we're about to see. I've waxed rhapsodic about it. Mike, what are your thoughts?
This looks like a great cover, and it's definitely one I would have bought. And I don't know, it seems familiar in my brain somehow that maybe Nightwing or Batman kind of did an homage to this with the like a batarang or the crazy twirly rope. I don't know. I'd have to go.
And was it
looking.
Quesada that did it? Because Quesada did Batman. He's
Maybe
actually,
it could have been, but
Yeah.
I seem to remember somewhere in another cover that same kind of twirly rope thingy.
no one can do that twirly rope thing quite the way Quesada can do it, right? Because like anybody else, it would just look like ruined scribbles, and yet somehow he makes it work.
Yeah.
To
True.
he
That's
can't.
true.
Not a fan of how he drew the feet. You know what? Maybe as a fellow artist, let's see. I never really looked at it.
They look a little big.
They look a little big. Okay, I never really noticed that. My eye was so drawn to this visual element that I've never even noticed that the feet didn't. Some.
It could be a web.
Yeah.
I'm sure people have drawn similar to this just because they love this image and are like, I'm going to do that too.
Yeah, but the body language says Daredevil's not afraid. He's not falling. He's fully in control.
He's the man without fear.
Look at that. Philip, what did Philip say?
Quesada took a page from Toddy Mac's spaghetti webbing.
I guess Philip knows him. They go back. So he calls him, what does he call him?
Toddy Mac.
Toddy Mac? Toddy Mac. All right, let's bring it to number 5, Mike. This cover, I have this comic. It is, if you were to grade it in a CGC, approximately a 0.5.
Used up a bit?
Yeah. People are selling these for thousands upon thousands of dollars. Mine would probably go for about $100. I read the heck out of this comic. The visual storytelling on this is astonishing. Once again, please note, you got the red background that literally just pushes your eye to the most important information. There's not a lot going on in the background. You've got the white knockout Hulk logo and now the Wolverine, not Wolverine, the Wolverine. You've got a little bit of information. He's here, the world's first and greatest Canadian superhero. And then you look and you're like, Wolverine is fighting the Hulk. Hold me back. Let me buy this issue. I wish I had bought it new. I don't even know if I bought it new. I might have bought it new. I don't know. It was just there in my collection. And then, of course, I just never know what to do with Wendigo. I don't know. Wendigo just doesn't seem that scary to me.
No, Wendigo changed a lot. Over the years, he's become gigantic. He's not that.
It looks like he's yelling at the kids to get off his front lawn.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know why Wendigo was in this story. I believe that it was continued from 180. But I think Wendigo something happens. And what's weird about this is that if I remember the story correctly, Wolverine gets like knocked unconscious. It's like, oh, and that's it.
That's done.
You got it off the spinner rack. Okay, so Henry's probably about our age. Marvel didn't know what to do with him either. I think they still don't know what to do with Wendigo. Every once in a while, they're like, let's redo that license in case we need him for a Canadian superhero story. Wendigo should have turned up in the last Deadpool movie. That would have been funny.
That would have been pretty good, yes.
Right? His name is like Paul something or other. But as a story, Mike, my eye goes right here. Those claws, to me, that look of determination, that costume, not crazy about the face mask. The first version of the face mask, not crazy about it. It reminds me a little bit of Peter Criss's makeup in the first version of the Kiss makeup. Not in love with it. But the absolute rage on the Hulk, and yet Wolverine is on the attack. And that's all you need to know. Wolverine is not cowering. Everyone else is usually cowering against the Hulk. And right there, I was like, who is this guy who's attacking the Hulk?
See, this cover, if it just suddenly appeared on the rack today, and I didn't know anything about these characters, I probably wouldn't have bought it.
Why not?
Just because like you said, I don't like Wolverine's mask. I don't like the way he looks. I don't like his claws, how they curve.
Okay,
they're
so we're out of 5 so far. 4 yeses, 1 no.
yeah.
Okay, 4 yeses, 1 no. What I would like to note, and I think this is kind of fun, I love how Marvel and even other companies like Image with Kick-Ass use this as a reference point. I love homage covers, and maybe one episode we'll just do all homage covers. Would people like if we did like just homage covers, just the original cover and then all the homage covers that have come?
Pretty good.
That would be good. We might need to prepare more than 10 minutes in advance, but we can do it.
Why would we need to do that?
What is he saying? I can't see the whole thing.
Wendigo should be a horror story. I just knew him as Bigfoot in the X-Men cartoon.
Ah, that's interesting.
The chains didn't make sense to Henry. True. Why was Wolverine in chains?
Wolverine was chained up in 180, and then he snaps out of his chains in 181. Yes, his claws were part of his gloves at the time, Victor.
Really? They weren't his hands?
That was a change made later when they brought him into the X-Men.
Oh, so he had to put on gloves and get the claws.
That's right. They were not actually part. Do you have a favorite of these 3 homage covers?
I would probably go with the Immortal Hulk looks really good. The middle one. The middle one?
Okay. Yeah. You like the Immortal Hulk? I'm going to go with Kick-Ass because I think what they're doing in Kick-Ass, it's an underrated comic. And what they're doing is they're sending a signal that we get you. Like, if you like these types of comics, you will like this Kick-Ass comic. That's what I think an homage does. An homage says, if you like the original, you're going to like this. Love the Joe Bennett one. Is the Joe Bennett one the one on the far left?
I don't know.
I think, is it? I don't know. Let's see. Okay, that is. So the one that you like the most is the Joe Bennett one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It is quite amazing.
It's an homage cover, but it's the exact same cover. It's just a better
version. I like this just because it's like taking modern characters and doing something with it. And again, I just like this, and then they got this Stan Lee looking guy in the background. He's got a cigarette. All right. So we just did the homage covers. So this is still, we're on 5. Now we're getting to number 4. Okay. I'm going to tell you why this cover is so important. This was the very first issue of the Fantastic Four where we see them in the costumes that they will wear throughout their career, modified, of course, but through the first 100 issues, they use these costumes. Actually, 102 is when I think Stan Lee continues to. But 1 and 2, they're not in costumes. They're more like the what's that? Champions of the Unknown, or the DC book that Challengers of the Unknown. But in this issue, they give the costumes. What I always absolutely loved about this cover was this, Mike. The whole body language and the arc of the fire from the Human Torch made me want to buy this. This cover said to me, I want this, right? Now, unfortunately, you don't see Reed using his powers. You don't see Sue using her powers. You see the Thing. But like right here, here's the cell. Read this out to me, Mike. This is Stan Lee at his best. Go ahead.
In this great collector's item.
No, read it in your Stan Lee voice.
In this great collector's item issue, you will see for the first time the amazing Fantasticar, the colorful new Fantastic Four costumes, and other startling surprises. Excelsior!
Now, they're not even being subtle. They are saying this is the greatest comic magazine in the world, right? You're fighting for shelf space. You're a relatively new comic company. By the way, that was the logo for Marvel Comics, MC.
Huh?
A little known fact there.
A little trivia for you.
And then also, read that.
Also learn the secrets
of the Stan Lee.
Oh, also learn the secrets of the Fantastic Four's skyscraper hideout. Really?
They're in a skyscraper hideout.
Skyscraper hideout. That I wouldn't buy it for that.
It's literally in Midtown Manhattan. It's called the Baxter Building. That's their hideout. Oh, wait, Byrne.
This is from the past one. Bronco's going to pull you aside and tell you all about the CIA shenanigans during the 60s that he read about in this
and
thing
he's
kids
like,
call the internet. Yeah, that's true.
move along. I got a Cutlass 442 to sell. Okay. This cover, by the way, I believe, if I am not, is Blue and White really colorful? Well, I will say that they were using the color palette that was consistent, and they did have a limited color palette. So they were using the red, the yellow, and the blue consistently. If you look at this cover, it's only really 3 colors, except for these 2, people in the background. But for the most part, the primary colors on this are extremely simple. You got the blue, the red, the yellow.
Yeah. See, right? I would have. I know that you bought it you wanted it because there was their costumes, but the original Fantastic Four cover, the first one, that one's much more exciting to me than this one when they're fighting that lava monster.
Yeah, the Mole Man's monster.
Yeah, that was much more exciting.
Well, granted, I'm going to agree with you that some of the Fantastic Four covers are better than others, but correct me if I'm wrong. And this is going to be a Wizard throwback. Did Wizard at some point pool money together and buy this comic for Phil Colligan?
That I couldn't tell you.
We would have to ask Phil Colligan, who was working at Wizard at the time. For some reason, I have a memory that Wizard editors chipped in and bought this for Phil.
It is possible. They did some of that sometimes.
Did some very generous things. Or some very generous people. Okay, buy or not, Mike?
This one I would not buy. Jared says it seems almost shy and subtle until the greatest comic magazine in the world. That's true.
Well, Jared, we are Americans, and we are not subtle. Okay, so 2 no's, 4 yeses. Okay. Number 3. I'm going to call this one an important cover because it's both significant and brilliantly drawn. This is a Neil Adams cover. This is Neil Adams and Denny O'Neil taking Batman in a much more serious direction. After years of the 1966 Batman campy TV show, Batman was a floundering comic. They didn't know what to do with it. Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams wanted it to be a serious crime comic. You had not seen the Joker in many years, so contextually, this was pretty important. We see the Joker, we see the laughing, we see Batman strapped to a card in terror, and the words, "Look out, Gotham, the Joker's back in town." To me, this is not just iconic, but it was significant at the time. Once again, generous use of a neutral background. The blue pops with the purple and the green, but then the white isolates Batman so that you can clearly see him on the playing card. Mike, go. Tell me what you see.
Oh, I would definitely buy this one just because of the way the Joker looks. He looks so evil that you'd be like, I have to find out what this guy is doing now and how he's changed from, the last few issues of Batman, because he certainly wasn't like that in the past.
No, and coming off the Batman TV show, they did bring the reading level down to appeal to the people who watched the show, but they were realizing that those people were aging and were probably interested in a darker Batman, bringing him to his detective roots, bringing him to street level crime. And Batman was very street level at this time. Early 40s, 50s, he was in outer space. He was doing all kinds of crazy, wacky things. And then the TV show came. It was fully camp. William Dozier, who produced the show, loved the show. One day I will tell you my story about Adam West and why Adam West ruined the show for me.
What?
I may have told you the story.
No.
He broke my heart. Never meet your heroes.
Oh, no.
Everybody, one day we will tell the Adam West story, but not today. But this is a buy.
Oh, yeah. I would definitely buy this one. Yeah.
So 5 yeses, 2 no's. We got 2 to go, Mike. How we doing?
Pretty good.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Number 2. This is the emergence of Alex Ross.
Yep.
This was Marvel's number 0, interestingly to note, and I'll show the other covers. All of the covers show this emerging young talent of Alex Ross with this painting style that we had seen, but not quite like this. What made this amazing to me was you never saw the reaction in the foreground of people looking at a battle between superheroes and where Spidey's feet are literally on the glass window. Like, this was an epiphany. This was storytelling like we had never seen. And what Ross is doing in this is, if you look from left to right, if your eye is tracking from left to right, you follow the smoke trail, you see the goblin, you see him hurling the pumpkin with the smoke trail, you see it inches away from Spider-Man's face, you see the innocence behind a piece of glass, which you know will break. This is a stunning cover. Also, noting the background, even though contextually shows the buildings, they're all very muted, and the colors in the front pop. But then in the foreground, he wisely mutes these other colors so that your eye doesn't settle too much on these foreground colors, right? So he is masterfully controlling the eye on the page.
Yeah. This
What
was
is
such
Burnett
a
saying?
shock to see at the time. Yeah, it was. Yeah, this is one of those other ones that I definitely would have picked up, just because it's the most realistic kind of cover that you've ever seen on a comic book. It wasn't the typical, not cartoony, but the cartoon drawings. This was like real life kind of art.
Yeah, and it wasn't typical of Marvel Comics at that point. We'd seen painted covers. That was very common with different publishers. Collected editions, very common to have painted covers, and many of them were fantastic. This was something else. This was literally storytelling on the cover, everything you needed to know. And like little touches like this, he takes the time to draw these two guys with balding hairlines. Now, why does he do that? I would argue that if you made their hair completely dark, you would lose their hair and their bodies in the background. By adding a little bit of flesh tone, you're able to maintain, your eye knows what it is. Your eye doesn't rest on it. You've got the woman with the hands. It's the stop. Everybody's got their hands up. Stop. Everybody's afraid. Peter Parker, rather, Spider-Man does not. Did I just blow his secret identity, Mike?
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Doesn't look afraid. He looks like he's ready to fight.
Yeah.
And the Goblin, face partially covered, but we know exactly who it is. Spider-Man's greatest villain, arguably one of the greatest nemesis of all time. An amazing cover. Any more to say? Because I'm going to show you the other 4 covers.
It actually looks like a Time magazine cover, sort of. You replace Marvels with Time.
I never noticed it before, but you are absolutely correct that it does look like it could have been like Time or Newsweek, like Spider-Man caught in Midtown. This was the 4 covers. And what was amazing about this, if you were at all a Marvel Comics fan, you immediately recognized that right here, this was the golden age Human Torch.
Yep.
You could see from the cars. What's amazing about what he's doing is he's taking a scene that was actually in the comic where the Human Torch runs out on fire. You are like, oh my God, they're going through the history of Marvel. Now, over here, devils, Satan children, he's flying up. They're throwing rocks. He is carrying what is a mutant child, and yet he looks so elegant and just unaffected by this, as he's literally gliding her away to safety with the classic X-Men uniform, which I, as many people our age, love those original costumes.
Yeah.
Love them. I had them in action figures somewhere in a move. I lost them. Now,
Oh, no.
We move more into the more Silver Age, and right here, Ross shows his unbelievable control over the X-Men cover is awesome. It is just brilliant. Now, the great battle between Johnny Storm and the Silver Surfer. Oh my God, he's wearing yellow. I love yellow. It's a yellow kind of, look at that. You're right. I didn't know. But the reflection, mind is blown because all of a sudden you're like, I never thought that the Silver Surfer would reflect not just the fire, but the buildings. And you're like, oh my God, yes, yes. And like that blank expression where he is completely unaffected. And of course, this being one of the greatest frames. And if you look, like if you look, you'll see like just little touches that show that the mask isn't flat. You've got a little bevel here, you've got a little bevel here, you've got Gwen Stacy, who dies, and the Goblin looking pretty evil. And you can even see like just the tips and rims around his eyes that he's wearing a costume. This blew my mind. This is as I was getting into comics, this was first coming out, and these had beautiful acetate covers. If you recall, you would turn the Marvel's acetate over and the logo, and you'd see the full painting from Alex Ross.
Yep, that was good stuff. Way good stuff. Yeah, the only one out of these that I probably wouldn't have picked up would have been the Silver Surfer one.
Why?
Just because it's I guess the most bland of all of them. It's completely focused just on the Silver Surfer, and all you do is see the reflection of the Human Torch coming at him.
Okay, that's fair. But what about the other three?
The other three, absolutely, yeah. Especially the Green Goblin one. That one's great because the reflection in his eye, and you know exactly what's going to happen.
And Spider-Man's mask is so iconic. You don't even have to show much of it to know exactly what it is. So amazing a bonus. And now we're down to our number one of stunning covers. I know that a lot of people love this. It's an iconic cover, but for me to see this cover, Thor in like about the most dramatic swinging pose imaginable, I imagine him completing that circular swing so that he will clobber the Silver Surfer, and yet the Silver Surfer has the power cosmic. Remember, not cosmic power, but the power cosmic. We see the background is completely inconsequential. For years, I never even noticed he was standing on the Rainbow Bridge. It didn't matter. The figure work on this is a masterclass in itself. The motion of the surfer coming in, this moment of impact, you have to read this. What do you think, Mike?
This one, I probably would have passed on as well.
Wait, what?
It's just kind of, Silver Surfer, Thor's going to swing at him.
He's literally flying over his own logo. I mean, what else do you want?
This is probably just the way I'm thinking of things or looking at things now. I mean, back in the day when this first came out, I probably would have.
You would have passed or you would have bought it?
I would have bought it back in the day.
Now, it is worth noting, I believe that comics were either 12 cents or maybe 20 cents. All the Silver Surfer issues were higher priced because they were 32-page stories. So it was actually a more expensive, hence making it a more rare comic to own. I'm wondering, see, Philip Burnett. Thank you, Philip.
And Henry thinks it's too.
Yeah, Henry's on our side. We're glad you came, Henry, to back me up here. All right, Mike. So I have a little surprise for you. I have a bonus cover. Probably something that will live in the pantheon of the world's greatest covers. I drew this cover myself in middle school. Here it is. This is my own cover. I just want you to know that this was young Buddy Scalera. I was putting all the details in, and just look at the composition here.
I like the brickwork. It's very nice.
Yeah, let's just start from the top here. I actually note that it's not real.
That's good. Didn't want to get sued.
It was only 12 cents. I don't know why it was issue 64. I did my best at drawing the Amazing Spider-Man logo. It was a sunny day. As you can see, I was a happy child. I do the corner box and the seal, the Comics Code seal. So you knew Spider-Man looks a little chunky.
That's okay. It's a warped lens, maybe.
He's got the hands behind the back, the Ramita pose. He is. Are
those bats or are they birds?
I think they're birds.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they're birds. He is on the side of a building. Just as you can see here, I did this on purpose. He's just holding on by his fingertips. He doesn't need to hold on a lot. But Mike, lovingly putting the brickwork and the fella hanging out the window.
Oh, nice. I was going to say, is that a gargoyle? I didn't know if that was a gargoyle. Or
That's a kid with a baseball cap.
okay, kind of like a little bit of Batman in there.
It's probably inspired from that. We've got the webbing.
Are those planes? Because they look a little phallic.
What?
Look at your planes.
Where's my plane? Those are bullets.
Oh, those are bullets. Okay.
These are bullets. Spidey fights Electro and Jigsaw, and I throw in my "nuff said."
That's nice. Isn't there 2 F's in "nuff"? But that's okay. You're a kid.
Well, it wasn't real. It was. I had already noted that.
Look at your bullets.
That wasn't real. Bullets. Those were bullets or small penises firing at Spider-Man. I'm gonna go with bullets. I actually put the barcode, a staple, and I actually draw to show that it's like a real issue.
I hope you have this framed somewhere,
Mike. I took it out of the and I took it out of the file cabinet to show in this show, but I think I am going to frame.
I'll even say this doesn't need to be framed. This needs to be in resin.
Resin.
Yes, just so you can have it forever.
No one should have this forever. But this, Mike, was my my own cover work. So does it fit with the theme of?
It looks good.
What's Henry saying here?
Comic book school by Scalera and Mike Fasolo. Probably that you guys are too young, but I am surprised that with a title like Stunning Covers, there was no Gil Kane.
Oh my goodness, you're right. You know what, Henry? I'm going to take that challenge, and I'm going to say you're right.
The next cover ones.
Yeah.
Thought that F looked like a T.
That F looked like a T. What F?
I don't know. Oh, the F. The F.
Oh, enough said. Yeah. Yeah, I was.
Philip Burnett agrees with Henry.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to. I think. That's right. Frazetta too.
Yep.
All right. I think we got some work to do. Well, people, thanks all for joining us. We are so happy that you join us every week. Sure to add your likes and your comments and share this with your friends. We genuinely appreciate you guys joining us every week, every Tuesday. We love seeing you. Welcome to our new viewers. We love seeing you. Thank you to our regulars.
Henry and who's the other one? Victor Medina.
That's it. So thank you and welcome to our new viewers. We have a record number of 91 comments tonight. Thank you so much. Please give a like, leave a comment, help spread the word, and we will see you again next Tuesday. Thanks everybody for joining us on Comic Book School Live. Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.